CH in their face, let them know I'ma do that blue and gold up. Make them haters throw up. Throw that blue and gold up. Make them haters throw up. Throw that blue and gold up. Make them haters throw up. Throw that blue and gold up. Make them haters throw up. Throw that blue and gold up. Make them haters throw up. Throw that blue and gold up. Make them haters throw up. Throw that blue and gold up. Make them haters throw up. Throw that blue and gold up. Make them haters throw up. Throw that blue and gold up. CH in they face, let them know I'ma throw that blue and gold up. CH in they face, let them know I'ma throw that blue and gold up. CH in they face, let them know I'ma throw that blue and gold up. CH in they face, let them know that. Shut them haters up, you know we go so hard. Chopper hit up in they face, yeah, I'm a bulldog. Number one is what we holding.
Good evening, Bulldog Sports Network. It's your BSN founder, Brett Swinney here, alongside Corey Marshall for tonight's weekly wrap-up here on the Bulldog Sports Network. How's it going, Corey?
What's going on?
It's going
back here
good.
again. Yeah, we're back here again.
Where?
Yeah.
Had a couple of good games last night. And on that topic, we covered a couple of girls' games, and we have a special guest tonight. He is the web designer, the man behind TXHSGBB, otherwise known as the girls' high school basketball website, Mr. Nick Alvarado. And he joins us. Nick, welcome to the show.
Thank you, guys, for having me.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. So, Nick, for those that don't know about your website at all, tell us about it.
Yeah, so txhsgbb.com was founded in 2013. Funny story, it wasn't really a basketball website. It was more of a all sports for one county. And then as it started growing, started figuring out, all sports is kind of pretty ambitious. So started in 2015, just made that decision of, I just need to cut just one focus on one sport, and I feel like girls basketball at that time didn't really have a voice, really no magazine either. So I just felt like girls basketball really was something that needs to get it out there, and especially in Texas, we're just a gold mine of talent, and just that is just awaiting to get discovered by so many college coaches.
Awesome. Also, just kind of give them about your site. Give them a breakdown of what you see, the free content side versus. I know you have a like a premier or premium tier, and what the difference is there and what they get for that.
So, yeah, the free side, the freemium side is what I like to call it. Is the part where you're just your basic stuff, your scoreboard standings, your basic content that is really, really there for everyone to view, basically. So it's I like to view it as like the old days of newspaper, where we didn't have these sites. All these sites pop up and just figure out, you get all your standings, your scoreboards, all that in the back pages of the newspaper. Whereas to the free content, it's the today's part of the media in sports now, where you get your feature stories, you get your breakdowns in terms of playoff projections. We do quite a bit of that. It was pretty difficult to do. We're still in that COVID realm, I would say, we
Everybody
still had a lot of cancellations and we still had a lot of postponements and movements, where when last year it was a mess where you had games every single day except for Sunday. So trying to find standings was a scramble. So this year, it wasn't really much of a scramble this year, thank God. But next year, we'll hopefully get a whole lot more and content on the paid side. When it comes to playoff projections. Everyone likes to do that. Bracketology for many fans who like to call it that at times too. And then of course, the big games, highlight some big games across the state when it comes to non-district things, big tournaments too over the course of non-district weekends as well. I know tournaments clash with football at times, but there were some pretty good tournaments. If you're a hoop head anywhere in the state, of course, East Texas, where y'all are at, Tenna Hall is a really big one over there.
Yeah.
Brownsboro, the greatest Texas shootout, also. So those are definitely some big time statewide tournaments on our radar for sure.
Awesome. So, how many about the subscribers you have to your the page? So I'm just curious of how that works.
Yeah.
What kind of numbers are you looking at?
So at the last count, which was around last week, I had almost about 475. About to reach the 500 mark. So
Okay.
we're about to reach
Okay.
a pretty good milestone when it comes to subscribers. So definitely, I haven't really thought about it as much as a big deal, but
That's a pretty big
yeah,
that's
it's
a
like
pretty
a
big
big deal.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one.
Yeah, I like your site. I haven't jumped on the subscribe to just because we haven't covered a lot of the girls stuff this year, but I do venture on there to look around and check out scores and such. So I was just kind of curious of how that worked. That's because there's a couple different models you can do. You can do the hey, here's all your free stuff, and then you've got that extra tier, which is good for those girls basketball junkies, like you said. I mean, the ones that really dig in, that want that extra content. That's great that you're able to offer that. Now, do you have anybody helping you?
At the moment, I'm the primarily one that does all the standing scores and all the playoff information. I'm the main person that handles that. I have a couple of friends in the Austin area that come in and help me there. I also have a guy also in the Dallas Fort Worth area helping me out with Dallas Fort Worth stuff too, as well.
Okay.
So I'm usually primarily the guy from that covers El Paso all the way over to the Texarkana area. So I'm probably the main guy that focuses around there and hones in on there. When I get a lot of help from Austin, from my friends down there, and then also some coaching connections too from across the state, and see, hey, how does this team look, or hey, how does so and so look when it comes to other teams from other areas.
I was going to say as well, I was going back in there about the coach connections. Have a lot of coaches been receptive of what you've done and as far as like support and kind of spreading the word a little bit towards their communities and stuff?
Oh yeah, I've been getting a whole lot of support from coaches, state championship coaches. I know Coach the Lombards up in Canyon, and Coach Donnie Ott over in Cedar Park. He loves this stuff as well, and then a lot of area, Houston areas as well. I got a lot of support from Houston too, and then East Texas is kind of a little bit hit and miss when it comes to small towns, but that's an area I look to hone in, and I have a tournament I in next year when it comes to that kind of thing. Hopefully in the near future, within the next year or two, I will try to make an appearance over in East Texas.
Well, maybe we can help you out with some coverage here in East Texas. I mean, we're here, and we. Go ahead, Corey. What you got?
I was going to say there's a building tournament. It's been going on for the past 10 years. I know UT Tyler's hosting it. It used to be at TK Gorman. I can't recall the name now. But you probably would know about that one too. It's like a classic. It used to be kind of like a Burger King classic.
Is it like the Macy's Centervert Classic or something? I think.
Yeah. That's kind of been growing and kind of building steam too. And it's got a lot of tap schools, a lot of local schools there, and they've been growing quite. It's not as big as the East Texas Shootout or the Tenna Hall Classic, the Christmas Classic, but it's growing here in Tyler for sure. Since there's not a predominant one in Tyler, that's kind of taken over. And it's been going on for 10 years now. So
I feel like the girls. I know the boys have a Wagstaff Turret Classic, I think, over in
Yeah, we
Tyler,
mentioned that a
and
lot.
I'm hoping the girls get something similar to the Wagstaff in the future.
Yeah, I think that's the tournament that the UT Tyler was what they're trying to give the girls option as far as because you've got the two colleges.
Okay.
Well, you got Texas College too, and you got what's the other little one?
UT and TJC.
Yeah, so you've got the two big ones right there, and so those are two hosts, and so that's good spots to have a tournament. So hopefully it'll continue to grow. I was going to ask you on an average night on a game day, how many retweets and notifications do you get? Because I can imagine that you get quite freely because all those coaches are tagging you and retweeting you scores and all kinds of stuff. What do you think you have an idea?
So I've lost counts over the years, so I had to get like a social media management tool to help me out on that. And within a span of a week, so it's counting 2 days of games. So within a span of a week, you're counting like around 608. The last week was 682 tags. Now there's a Twitter post a limitation to where if you tweet so many times within a span of X amount of minutes, I don't remember, you get suspended because Twitter thinks you're spam, and I don't know why, and this is weird. And so I found out I haven't gotten blocked or suspended, thankfully. I believe 1 year I did, but it was on my personal account before I made the website, and it was like a 5-minute suspension. I'm like, okay, so don't do that again. It's Twitter. So it's like,
no, we don't want to do spam. Not the spam.
All right, we got some people joining us here. We're going to shout out. We got our boy Chris here as usual. Shout out to Chris.
Come on, Chris.
And we got James here. James, you got any questions for Nick? James' daughter plays on the varsity basketball team in Chapel Hill. Girls team that lost last night. Vince, you got anything for Nick before we kind of dive into some games and some stuff around the area?
I kind of just joined, so I don't know what all y'all may have asked already. I'm sure y'all probably hit a lot.
Well, go for it because there may be somebody that's tuned in that wasn't here either. So,
I'm just gonna. What is what was one of the best games you covered so far?
Ooh, so I have been to quite a bit so far this year, but the best one, I would probably have to say is Duncanville Cedar Park in Austin in the Austin Bowie tournament. So that game was pretty good. I will say Duncanville did not impress me at that time. They did not play really great. They turned the ball over quite a bit. But Cedar Park, though, I believe Cedar Park is the real deal when it comes to the season so far.
I bet you see that. James giving you a hard time.
Yeah, I see it. James, man, he always on me. He always on me.
James,
okay.
James, Alexia played great last night, by the way, James. She had a great spurt there and got him back in in the third quarter. I thought she played a great game.
I felt like she should have been more of the offense. Me personally thinking, because she really got them going. So,
well, we can talk about the games we covered last night, Nick. First game we had was at 6 o'clock. We had North Lamar Bullard. Pretty good matchup. We got to see Bullard play. Or I did. Y'all might have caught the game. I don't know if y'all got to catch it.
We caught the tail end of it.
I covered the game.
Chapel Hill. It was a good matchup for the second quarter.
Yeah. Well, and I think Bullard got off to a slow start. They didn't shoot as well as they did against Chapel Hill in the seeding game. They did catch fire a little bit in the second, but it looked like that just North Lamar just had a little too much. Have you got to see either one of those teams, Nick, or anything at all?
I have seen North Lamar through highlights. I would say that whenever they faced Gilmer, I believe that North Lamar, I think, is pretty solid. I think, and I think 15-4A, that whole district, I think, it is a little bit tougher than what people seemed on paper. Because Gilmer, I think, is not a bad team. They've been inside the top 15 and 20 in our poll, the TXHS GVB poll. North Lamar has been in and out of the top 25 too, but as well. So North Lamar, I think, is pretty good. And then Bullard, I know quite a bit about from head coach Barry Gill, who went to move on to 1A Huckabee there as well. So Bullard is usually a traditionally strong team also. But I'm kind of surprised that North Lamar gave it to Bullard in a way there.
Yeah. Well, our district, we talked about it before. Our district kind of got spanked as all four teams got beat. And you talked about it that 15-4A was tougher than maybe everyone thought, and all four teams came out on top. So, and that kind of shows the depth of their district. I think I looked at the score. I think Gilmer and Liberty Allo, the team Liberty Allo who we played, they were neck and neck for first. Actually, Gilmer beat them in a playoff game for first, and so that they all had losses. They were able to beat each other up. Kind of shows how tough maybe the district was as a whole.
I can sense that, to be honest with you. The North Lamar team, we talked about this live last time on telecast. They were young and they're long, and they play pretty good defense.
Yeah.
And I thought, like you said, they were in and out of the polls. I could see that for sure, because I thought that team, their game plan was phenomenal, and they covered a lot of ground. And they were very young. They had a couple freshmen and sophomore. I was impressed with that team, so I can understand how they were in the top 25 poll, maybe in the top 15. But North Lamar is pretty legit, and if Gilmer's any better than those two teams by far, then I suspect Gilmer's going to make a pretty good run. And I know Gilmer's been pretty legit for the past few years. So.
And James says we beat up on each other all season, but can't get out of the first round. So yeah, there were some good games between Bullard, Lindale, and Chapel Hill. Henderson was a little step below, but I think they even stepped in and beat Bullard or one of those teams above Chapel Hill. I know Chapel Hill beat them twice, but yeah. And speaking of beating up, man, that second game we had between Liberty Allo and Chapel Hill, it was a physical game. The refs let a lot go. Liberty Allo, I don't know how much you've seen of them, Nick, this year, but they play some like physical defense, like hand checking, all in your face, and it really it frustrated our girls, and forced some uncharacteristically bad passes and just panic a little bit. And I mean, the ref kind of dictated the tempo and of the game and the way they called it, and it was right into Liberty Allo's favor.
Yeah, whenever you say, sorry, whenever you say physical, I think of West Texas physical, because we have a whole lot of teams here in West Texas, that play physical ball, and Liberty Ilo, I think, is a team that makes you play wants to makes you play their style. They muck it up, and that's the way they like to play, and as well. And I think that's the reason why they kind of got that split against Gilmer too. Is excuse me, when they make that. When you make a team force you to play the way you want to play, it kind of gets to your head mentally in a way at times too. And definitely, I think Liberty Ilo, looking at the brackets here, I think if they can take it to Brownsboro early, I do think they have a shot to potentially provide an upset there in that area round. But Brownsboro right now is just too good. They got a pretty good solid scoring team there also, but
that's our old coach, Jeremy Durham from Chapel Hill. He went to Brownsboro. I think he's an alumni.
Right. Yeah.
So that was actually we were kind of interested to see how that matchup would go if we were able to get past them. It'd just be interesting. But he had a good program running here, and of course Brownsboro's got that solid little dribbler program, and so they they eat, sleep, and drink basketball over there. And so he's got them rolling.
We left out Winsboro. I can't forget. I can't not mention Winsboro. We say Brownsboro and the two boroughs, because Winsboro is just as good as Brownsboro is and was in girls basketball too. Remember they had that hot streak. Growing up, I think they won 4 straight state championships or something like that. I mean, they were They were pretty dominant in girls basketball.
And speaking of that, I think Winsboro is actually one of Brownsboro's losses this year. I was looking at their schedule.
Yeah.
They beat Brownsboro. So
yeah, so that's a rivalry I would like to see. Just like the UConn and Connecticut of East Texas, or no, the UConn and the Lady Vols of that. I like that. But I do have to ask a question. So there was a guard at Liberty Island. I can't think her name. One of the guards was going to Sam Houston State, or I don't know if you have any at a commit or something like that. I couldn't remember.
Yeah, I think it's the block girl, the one that ate us up for like.
Yeah, she had like 20 something.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. She had over 25 points. I didn't count it up. It was a lot. And actually, the other player that I thought was going to be a challenge for us got removed from the team. I think it was Montgomery was her last name. She was the other person I saw in highlights that she was a very phenomenal player, and she didn't even play last night. I believe she was removed from the team for discipline or something.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, they didn't show any signs of slowing down.
So they didn't even have their best. They didn't have their best people on the floor. Is what you?
They were missing one of them. Yeah.
They were missing one of their best.
Because I think before the game, I said, watch for 23 and 0. Well, 0 was.
That's right. Yeah, and then she wasn't there. Yeah.
But 23, I think, was a good call there. she had a great night.
Yeah.
But
they played good ball. They did. I wish our girls would have won, but they played good ball, and they did a good job defensively, which very much frustrated Chapel Hill. So, I mean,
it's my brand of basketball. You got to be physical on defense, baby.
You do.
James thinks they're going to get past Brownsboro. So it's a very good possibility. Like I said, if they're able to, force their style on Brownsboro, it's very possible. Nick? After the first round that came through, what are some of your biggest upsets that you saw?
So, I've been warning people a whole lot about this upset, and this is in Region 4 and 3A. Karn City beat Columbus. Columbus entering the playoffs was 33-0. Now, a lot of people did talk about their schedule, strength of schedule, and fair point to that. But overall, District 27, I think that's District 27 3A was pretty brutal because it was I believe it was a two-way tie for first between Lytle and Poth, which finished, I believe, 12-2, if I'm correct, and then Poth, or actually not Poth, Cotulla finished third, and then Karn City finished fourth. Karn City was inside the top 25 throughout the whole entire season, so definitely, I don't think it was an upset, but a lot of people across the state are calling it upsets also as well. So I could see that potentially happening there. But other than that, no, it was pretty ho-hum. I was kind of surprised by how straightforward the first two days were when it comes to playoffs. You usually get an upset here and there, but also Cattle Mills in 4 Region 2. They kind of survived a scare against Mudbank. I'm not sure from what the social media post from what I saw was, but it looked like from the angle of the video from Cattle Mills was, I believe the girl, she had a running shot and right on the right elbow, and then I guess it made in right at the buzzer sounded, and Cattle Mills won. So they were down for most of that game too. So fair play to get Cattle Mills, though. They'll be playing Paris in the area around there also.
I'm always afraid of going into the playoffs undefeated. That always makes me nervous. Your only loss of the season could be the last game that you play.
Yeah,
and
that's got to be hard to deal with.
Yeah, I'd rather lose games early, than to not go on the blemish. That's hard to go into the postseason and you one loss and you're out.
Well, that means everything. That means everything's gone your way, like the entire season. So every break and everything,
and you don't know how to act when it don't go your way.
So all it takes is that one break that doesn't go your way, and you almost don't want that to happen. Late. So you want it to happen early, but man, That's got to be a tough one to swallow. Going that 33 wins and 0. That's a lot of wins. That's a lot of tournament games. That's a lot of games. Period. I mean, you can probably and the most you can play is like 40, huh?
Yeah,
I believe so. I believe that's the cap for schedules.
I mean, that's because if they went all the way, that would have been, 39s. I mean, that's a lot of games.
Oh yeah. A couple of years ago, when Mansfield Timberview went to state, they entered the state tournament 40-2. So they were, and I believe they won the state title that year too. So they ended the end of the season 42-2. So
I mean, there's no way I'm going. There's no way I'm going to the state tournament. If I'm playing that many games, there's no way I'm not going to the state tournament. If I have to be in the stands, I'm going. The state of Texas owes me a pair of tickets. They owe me 25 tickets for the entire team. They owe me. I'm going.
Okay,
force your way into that game.
I play 42 games. I'm going. Somebody's paying my way.
But yeah, I wanted to follow on that point that you mentioned about going undefeated and losing first round. A lot of these tough districts, we like, for example, DeSoto's, Cedar Hill, Duncanville, they beat each other up so much in the regular season. And then we talk about the term cannibalism. You're eating your own district up when it comes to the playoffs. And when it comes postseason, you have a lot of injuries. And you're not healthy. You're fatigued from a very tough district slate too. And I feel like in college too, whenever it comes to, the old Big East with 16 teams, Marquette, DePaul, Seton Hall, and then you had Syracuse and Cincinnati, all those teams in there. It was cannibalism, I feel like, and comes the tail end of the Big East, and then they split into the American, towards that tail end before that split, the Big East ate itself up at times. A lot of teams, that were NCAA tournament worthy went to the NIT, and they had a deep run in the NIT. And then I feel like in high school too, you had the same point, and you had the same way too. And it comes to that, and I feel like in 16-4A, might have been a little bit of cannibalism when it came to Lindale against, of course, Chapel Hill, and then of course you had. I believe the 2 seed here was Bullard. Yeah, Bullard. Bullard also being in that tough pool of group of teams too in the top 3. So sometimes it's good to be in a tough district, but come later on, it could be harmful when it comes in the postseason.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the Big East. I miss the old Big East. I really do. There's nothing like the Big East tournament. Out of all, there's the Big East tournament, then there's the NCAA tournament. That's the best tournament to watch. It's all at Madison Square Garden, and it's always going to be, double overtime, triple overtime. You got UConn, Syracuse. You got some team that doesn't even supposed to be there all the time. Yet that 1 year Georgetown was like mid-pack, and they came in and got to the NCAA tournament. Like you never know what happens in the Big East tournament, but that's neither here nor there, but that was a good reference there. I like that.
Well, I want to take this opportunity to thank our sponsor for tonight's show, Zoe Knows Insurance. Shout out to Zoe and his company.
Zoe Knows Insurance.
So Zoe, give me a call. So we want to talk some sponsorship business. So I want to have you on the show too. So give me a call, Zoe, if you're watching. I thank him for sponsoring each week. Y'all want to talk about some matchups in the area around?
Absolutely.
Sure. Let's go.
Yeah.
Nick, we just found out we will be covering the game in White House between Gilmer and Canton.
Ooh.
What do you think about that? We saw that. We actually were thinking about Brown because we got a good relationship with Texan Live, and so we pretty much can pick what games we want to cover here in this area because they're based in the Houston area, and so we've got built a relationship with them, and we talking and we looked at the game in Marshall between Liberty Island and Brownsboro, but we're like, man, that's an hour plus drive. We got White House right here down the road, and Gilmer and Canton possibly could be a great game. You got Gilmer, which we know they're good in that 15-4A district. Then you got Canton coming out of district with Brownsboro. So the only 2 losses they had in district were to Brownsboro. What do you think about that matchup?
Yeah, I think this is going to be a very good, a very tasty East Texas matchup. Canton have some pretty good guards from what I hear. They can score the ball and shoot the ball pretty well. From the feedback I got whenever they were in the holiday tournament again in Leonard, they played pretty good, solid basketball. I believe they had pretty good defense as well, and I feel like with that can go into a great combination of pretty good players and a good team being coached by John Hobbs there. And then for Gilmer, definitely really good, well coached, disciplined team as well. Don't know a whole lot about Gilmer. I've seen bits and pieces of him on throughout highlights on film, but overall, I feel like this is gonna be a really good basketball game.
Well, if you want to watch it, we'll have it. We'll be on NFHS.
I'll pull it up on
Texan
a big screen.
Live. Yeah, Texan Live is actually they can only cover so many games, but they're still getting us on through NFHS, so should be a good one. Corey's excited about it. Vince, you gonna make that one this week?
Friday,
White House 6:30.
down the road in White House, right?
Yeah,
I'll be there.
so should be
good. It is an enemy territory, but we'll support it.
But it's not enemy. They're not there. It's
I know. Finally, Chapel Hill will be in White House or be somewhere. That's an inside joke.
Yeah.
We'll be
so if you don't know, we're all Chapel Hill grads, Nick. So we have White House Chapel Hill is kind of it's not as big a rivalry. Now, our girls did beat White House this year, and White House girls actually won their first playoff game in some time. I don't know what the date was on it, but I did see that they won. They were a pretty good team, but I think of the games that we saw Chapel Hill play this year, that was one of the better games that we played. An overall game against White House. I don't know if it was just the intensity of the rivalry and they just stepped it up into high gear, but we played a really solid game.
It was on a Tuesday night, and and you had White House on the calendar. Chapel Hill plays, and it was a home game, and slowly but surely people start to come in the gym, and the crowd kind of gets a little riled up a little bit, and by the second quarter, you got a game, and it turned into something that's bigger than what it normally would be. So it was good. It was good. I liked it.
James says he watched Canton and they are sneaky good.
Yeah, I have him as a sleeper pick in 4A Region 2 behind Cattle Mills also. So that's a pretty good sneaky top half of that bracket. Looking at it on paper, pretty good sneaky part of that bracket.
Yeah, Ken's always had a good basketball program, girls or boys. So I don't suspect anything less.
So any other matchups in this area, Nick, that you see that might be to watch out for?
What you excited about?
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier. Brownsboro and Liberty Ilo. I'm interested to see how Brownsboro handles the physicality of Liberty Ilo. And again, the key is for Liberty Ilo is to take it to Brownsboro early, get them routed up first mentally, and then if you kind of get them into foul trouble early, Liberty Ilo has that feeling of they can be able to do it, and definitely. That'll be a upset potential, not too big of an upset potential when it comes to potentially upsets. But overall, it's something it's worth to keep an eye on. It's worth to keep your popcorn handy when it comes to keeping an eye on the Twitter. That'll be definitely one for sure too, as well. Winsboro, I think will have a pretty good game. Looking at my bracket here, I believe they play Wascom. I believe, yeah. So definitely, that's definitely gonna be a game. I think Winsboro handles Wascom, in my opinion. I believe in that part of the bracket. I think they're path to set for that regional tournament in 3A there too. So, I have a question for you guys, and I've been getting a whole lot of this about coaches, and I want to get it through the media perspective now. A whole lot of coaches relate to me about regional tournaments that they don't like it. So as a media perspective, what is your feedback on regional tournaments? Because you got to play Friday night and then you get like a quick 8-hour planning and then you're back at it.
Brad, you wanna go first? You want me to?
It doesn't matter. I mean, it's up to you. I can. We can talk about that actually, because the funny thing is we're going to be covering a regional tournament in Commerce this year in the airplane hangar. I don't know if you've ever been to that gymnasium at A&M Commerce campus. It looks like a big airplane hangar, and the gym's just sat in the middle of it. But the atmosphere in there is like incredible.
I've seen pictures.
I've never been, so I'm excited.
You've never been, Corey?
No,
man.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Corey, I'm telling you what, man.
Never been.
You've never been either, Vince. Man. Chapel Hill's played there before in the past. I've traveled and gone to watch them. But to be able to call a game in that place is going to be an awesome, exciting event. We just got the word that they want us to cover the regional tournament there. They really want the boys and girls. I don't know if we'll be able to swing both. We're definitely doing the boys. We're going to try to see if we can swing the girls. I don't know. But, man, the atmosphere in that it's just like an open air, and and either team does anything, it just erupts. It's the sound in it is incredible. But I personally, now I'm not a coach, so I personally like it because it's like you get to travel somewhere. It's like a semi, I guess, a preparation for how the state game's going to be in a sense. Now I know they still give them a day off, right? For this
it's consecutive days.
So is it back-to-back days there too? I can't. It's been a long time since I've been in the state tournament.
For state, it's a day break.
It is a day. Okay, so it's similar to it. It kind of gets you ready for that state atmosphere. It's a bigger, usually a bigger gym, bigger facility. You know, it just kind of preps them for what's next. And so I personally like it, especially because it's cool because you can just travel to one and go. You know, you stay one night or you drive back and forth, but you can catch 3 really good games within a 2-day span. I believe the Commerce one's usually a 6 and 8 o'clock and Friday night, and then maybe like a noon or so championship of the region. So basically, you go down, you stay. For me, I'm probably just going to crash there to find a room or something. It's a 2-hour drive. By the time you drive, 2 hours back, and then it's going to turn around and drive 2 more. You might as well just grab a Motel 6 or something. But I like it. They will. I personally like the format myself. I don't know about you guys, but I personally like it.
I guess I'm gonna put my coaching hat on. If I was in that position, the competitive side of me loves it because you're ready to play. You always want to see your guys compete. And I can understand the prep side as far as you don't have enough time to scout your next opponent. You have to immediately win, and then after that, forget that game and go right to the next game. And if you're lucky, you don't play first, you play second, so you can actually watch both teams. So you can actually scout a little bit, and then when you scout a little bit, that's fine. You can do that. If you after the other game, you gotta get done with the I don't want to say champagne, shower with the Gatorade showers, all the kids excited, send them back to the room so they can get rest. Even though they're 16, 17, 18-year-old kids, you still want them to relax a little bit, go get away, don't think about basketball. And then now the coach has got to come back to the gym, you're ready for the game. You got to scout, and you got to, scout this team. And then you're scouting on the fly because you don't have the additional tape. You're scouting right then. So everything that you see is what they potentially would run. And so each coach, and it's an advantage for both teams because each team is doing the exact same thing that you're doing. They're scouting on the fly. So you really have to be inept to the changes that they would make, potential rosters. And, you may want to call somebody that hey, what did you guys do against this team? Use your coaching buddies on the line, and you won't get any sleep, because you're worried about, the adjustments that we may make, what they may make, what they potentially would do. And then you're hoping that your team is also focused. Hey, guys, get rest, go to sleep. Don't stay up, get off the phone. And you got to worry about Twitter and Facebook and Xbox and, and TikTok and everything else. There's a multitude of things that you would have to do in a 24-hour time frame. The good news is it's only 24 hours. So it's not that times 10. But it is the positive thing it is, though, it's just like that in college. Conference tournaments are the exact same way. You travel to a site, and if you win, you play the next day. And if you win, you play the next day after that. And I was a part of that, but we played at the time. We actually had to play at home, and then we went to the actual site, and we had to play the championship game there. But I can understand them being there, but it's a supreme focus. and it's one of those things where the competitive side of me, I would like to just go out there and prep, compete, and move forward. But you got to worry about kids being kids. That's a part of the coaching staff that you really want to talk about. Go over film, watch tape. You're not going to get any sleep. Probably going to be hyped on caffeine. 5-hour engine shot. Everything's got to be the best as it can be at that point, since you have the less turnaround. So I can understand them not liking it, but the competitive side of me, I'm a basketball nerd. Y'all know I would absolutely love it. That's something that's fun for me.
So you think people don't like it?
You see James's comment, Corey, there?
Yeah. Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, I got a little cousin that goes there, so I'm gonna reach out to her when I go.
Sweet. All right, Vince, what you think?
I mean, I like the spirit of competition, so I don't understand why anybody wouldn't like it. Especially when it comes to basketball. Like, basketball is just one of the sports where you just go play. Like, it can be taxing, but the more you play, the better you get. And there's y'all in basketball, you just play so many games. I just don't. It ain't like football where you got to actually. You play that one game and you need the next 6 days to rest up, to heal up, So I don't get why anybody wouldn't like it. I love
strategy.
All
these are strategy. The only thing you would worry about.
And like Corey said, like, you don't want to go first, which makes total sense. I wouldn't want to go. I want to sit back. Man, I don't even. I want to sit back as far as I can to kind of watch everybody, before I play. And like Corey said, do some scouting. That helps you prepare. I mean, that's the only prep you really get, right? With all of these schools. So I like I said, it sounds like a great idea to me. I love it.
Phone a friend. You want to phone a friend, a coach that that's played them before, saw him. Hey, let me know. So what worked against?
I mean, all these coaches know each other, so they calling each other anyway. They calling assistant coaches and stuff. Oh, hey, tell me about Liberty. They communicating anyway.
Yeah, and this, to be honest with you, and this is a true story. So we, of course, my Sam Houston days, we played. I can't remember a team we played, but it was right on. We had, I think it was like a back-to-back game. They went and we played a game and we won, right? And so immediately that night, matter of fact, no, I'll tell you, it was the Padre Island tournament, college tournament, Padre Island, and we played. I think it was a team out of Delaware State. Played Delaware State that night before, and the night after that, I think we had to play another team. I can't think of the name. We won both games, and so they had to. The night that game we won. The next game we had to play. Immediately after we won, we go out and coach didn't even go out with us. They was focused on scouting the next opponent. We had team dinner, everybody sitting down chilling, eating blah blah blah, and then hey, curfew's at 8. Hey, go be in your room. Hey, I need you to be in your room. Lights out at 10. Me being a manager, I'm going by knocking on everybody's door. Don't answer the knock. I'm still got to walk in anyway. Hey, everybody's in the room. Okay, good. Everybody's in the room. Okay, good. But that's the sort of thing that you want to do, but you're prepping. What is coach doing? They got a TV. They got notepads. They got, faxes at the time. This is a long time ago. You got faxes. They're sending faxes back and forth. It's a nonstop thing. And at the same time, you're building a scouting report just to put together in less than 24 hours. They didn't go to sleep at 3 o'clock in the morning, maybe 4. They may not have went to sleep at all. At the college level, it's that intense. It's probably a little bit dialed down in high school, depending on the severity of the opponent who you're facing. But I don't know, man. I'm geeked out about that. That to me is the fun part. You have to go out and you have to, you got to watch it with your eyes. And you got to match everything on paper, and you got to build your scouting report, and you have to follow through. And then on top of that, I don't know if they have a shoot around or not the next day. If they do, that's even better. Some teams they know somebody that would go to another gym. Hey, can we go to your gym and do a shoot around real quick? They don't practice at the facility. They go to an offsite gym to shoot around and get a shoot around in. And during the shoot around, they're going over nothing but they do nothing but game prep stuff. Yeah, they call it shoot around, but it is a scouting report, 30 minutes. We've practiced hours and hours of practice. I don't want you to do anything but focus on the scouting report. When we get to the gym, that's when you're putting up shots. I just want to take you away from the hotel, take you away from people, talk about the scouting report, get back on the bus, go to the gym, and now we're shooting. That's it. It's weird, but you gotta have it organized and focused, man. It's weird, but I like it. I don't know. I would like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I totally get that.
You got anything else for us, Nick?
Off the top of my head, no, I don't at the moment. No.
I do have a question for you.
Pretty good stuff.
I do have a question. Okay. Would you, as far as doing this, and you've been doing this since 2013, what would be the next step for you in your website and your magazine and everything? What would be the next step? Have you decided? Have you gone to cover collegiate sports, JUCO, maybe Division II, Division III, or what is the next step in doing this for?
So, I feel like the next step would be making this a full-time job. Now, it's a pretty big leap, because we're right here, and full-time job is way up here. So it's a big leap. In order for that to do that, we need quite a little bit more subscribers, I would say. And plus, I have covered D2 on the side a bit to see how that is. I've been covering because I'm a small college geek when it comes to that kind of stuff. So I'm always involved in like the Lone Star Conference.
Well, then you're right up our alley. Then UT Tyler just joined the Lone Star Conference.
Oh yeah, I was glad when that happened because we got all these Lone Star conferences now joining, all these teams joining. So because I was keeping up with it, but prior to UT Tyler, all of the St. Edwards and all the teams joined in before it was like a 3-division basketball league now. So so I always keep up with our local team here, LCU. They're just right. There's like 5 minutes from me from where I'm at right now. I always keep up with West Texas A&M. I went to West Texas A&M, and I still keep up with them. I know they have quite a bit of the staff following me on Twitter from WT, not so much LCU. So I kind of hold that against LCU at times. So definitely that's a cool thing there. UTVB also, I always keep up with a lot of the local Texas colleges as well, and also keeping up with Tech and Baylor right now. They're playing right now also. So yes, I'm pretty sure we're probably binge watching somewhere. It's like hang on. So yeah, and then of course
what about them Longhorns?
No.
I hate to say this, but outside of basketball, I watch Texas A&M. So.
Spoiler alert.
You're talking to 3 diehard Longhorn fans.
Wow. I did not see that coming at all.
So me and my girlfriend we've been watching Texas A&M games every game also. So
we got a Facebook question here. I'm not sure who it is. Must be in the community page because it's no user, but someone's asking me boys playoff picture and it's going to be cleared. Boys playoff picture. We will have the game on Texan Live. We haven't made that announcement, or it'll be coming out here in the coming days. We'll have the web link just like the girls, but the game will be on Texan Live. They'll be playing in Pittsburgh. We'll be going right back to the same gym we were this past Tuesday at 7:00. And they'll be playing Liberty Aloe. Same exact matchup as the girls. So boys looking to try to get a little revenge for the girls. Is Deuce going to be cleared? I don't think so. He was still been on crutches. It's some sort of knee injury. And I'm saying he's probably not going to be back. Now I don't know that for a fact, but I'm fairly certain he's probably done for the year. I don't think he's taking a chance on injuring that with his football games coming up here next year. So I don't know exactly the how bad it is. I know he was, like I said, he was on crutches in the hallway, and that's about all I know on that. I'm not sure who's asking that, but whoever's asking, that's all I know. I know Demetrius Brisbane has been cleared. He's played the last couple. Coach Johnson's moved up, I believe, at least one player off the freshman team. I believe Trevor Brooks of the freshman team has been moved up to play varsity. I'm not sure if anybody else is, but that's kind of we haven't got to the boys yet, but that's a good question. We'll talk about them here shortly. And Nick's welcome to stay on and talk with us about the boys, or he can scoot off if he wants to. We'll let him decide that.
I want to finish watching this Baylor Tech game. It's close. It's getting good. It really is.
Well, speaking of that, we have a chance to go to a premiere. I don't know if you've seen the Ode to Baylor little mini series that's coming out, Nick. Basically, it's kind of goes from the tragedy of the murder of the basketball player in Waco with Coach Bliss and that whole situation, and then the Scott Drew story. He took over the program and obviously led them to the national championship. We actually have a former alumni from Chapel Hill. I think he's 2 years older than me. He reached out to us a few days ago, and he has invited us to be his guest on they're going to premiere it in Tyler and then I think 2 other places, but we're going to be able to attend that. And so that's going to be a cool thing. We're actually going to have him on and talk to him about that. So keep an eye on that. That's a pretty cool piece.
Yes.
There's a clip up. I think it's on YouTube. So look it up. It's got the little kind of the trailer, and it's pretty cool. It looks like they've done a really good job on it. So shout out to Chris Scott and his team.
Shout out Chris.
So
doing some good work.
I thought that was cool. He actually, I guess he listens to our show and to our broadcast, and wanted us to be his guest. So kind of a cool thing. Speaking of that, Nick, I have a question for you. Have you ever thought about doing a commercial or any kind of advertisement for your site?
Yeah, we're trying to get that off the ground. Really, it's been slow process, really, but I've been trying to do my best to focus more on that advertising and marketing part of during this off season. Of course, we're always open to sponsorship on the website at any time. Please let me know, and we can give you the proper paperwork through email, and that way you can send it back to us as well. So I know we're around state tournament time. We usually open the 2022-23 spots for our website also, because I know the funny thing is, we're already talking new districts already, and it's just already gonna be crazy during the off season as well. So
do you ever trade off advertisement, Nick?
Yeah, at times, Yeah,
we
always
talk
talk
about that.
Trades.
Because we'd love to advertise you. You could advertise us. Be a good partnership there, because like I said, we've got a pretty good following here in the East Texas area, looking to maybe grow that. So we can talk about that, because that's easy. I mean, with our broadcast and stuff, we can easily throw a commercial on for you, and we try to get you some because like I said, I've just, this year is really the first time I've been to your site. I knew Hoop Insiders is, everybody thinks that's the basketball site, and I just started watching the tweets, and I'm like, hey, what's this other site for the girls? And so I got to see it. It's really cool that you're doing that for the girls. Want to make sure that they get covered too. Also, I know how hard it is to keep up with just one side of the thing, not trying to. So that's great that that you're able to split that with Brad. I know he's covered up with the boys, and we've talked to him a little bit. He gets a lot of people that tweet him the girl stuff, and he sends them your way. I got to talk to him the other night, and we're going to have him on next week and talk about the boys playoffs. So it's an awesome. We like doing some networking, and so we're glad that you came on tonight, and we really appreciate what you're doing for the girls basketball programs.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Yeah. So we're going to talk boys. You want to stay and talk boys? Or it's up to you.
Yeah, I would love to. I don't know a whole lot about East Texas boys. I'm sorry, guys. So
Hey,
yeah,
that's okay.
we're
You can just chime
yeah.
in when you want to. You're our guest, so whatever you want to chime in, not you
Okay,
can,
okay.
or you can just listen to us argue back and forth. I mean, some people like to.
I'll
Yeah.
probably getting some area pairings for girls, so I'll be definitely be listening though.
That's hey, we got a couple for you. I don't know if you had those pairings or not, but we got those couple.
Yeah, we have quite a bit already, so I'm just trying to get some stragglers.
Oh, there's some fighting words right there with James. James, come on
I,
now.
It's
hey,
time to go, James. It's time to go,
yeah,
James.
like, yeah,
It's time to go.
you can't
You've
disrespect
had
Texas like
you've
that,
had
man.
too
You
much
can't
to
do that.
drink. You've had too much to drink. It's time for you. It's time to go.
I was gonna say it's a school night.
All right,
It's a school night.
so basically, since we've left the boys, we the last game we covered the boys was a road loss in Bullard, a tough one that they had a chance to take hold of the district. They couldn't pick up the win, so they were able to roll with 3 straight wins. Picked up a win over the Tyler Heaton in a extra game that was added, and then over Henderson, and then Spring Hill. Pretty significant wins for Coach Johnson and his crew. So they're going to roll in, and I saw they got the 3rd seed. I did talk to them about it, and they were content with flipping or taking 3rd. They weren't going to play the game off at this point. And so I don't know which one they did end up doing, but they ended up with a 3rd seed, and so they'll be playing Liberty Islo like we just talked about, 7 p.m. Monday night in Pittsburgh. Hopefully all the Bulldog fans out there can make it. If you're not able to get there, we will have the game on Texan Line. The link will be on our website, bulldogsportsnetwork.com. And so we'll have that link posted. So anybody looked at Liberty Islo yet? If y'all, I mean, I know it was kind of just announced. Corey, you raising your hand. What you thinking?
It's almost a mirror opponent, they're exactly like us. But I'm gonna say this, I am about this stuff. I'm always leery of playing a team that you beat before, especially in the playoff. We played Liberty Islo again last year, and we put a thumping on them last year. And this basketball team is almost identical to the same team. They just gotten better. They're 20-7, 7-3 in their district, and they've had some tough bouts and fights throughout that district. Of course, you have Paris, which is a perennial power, and they're always tough. And so they're pretty battle tested. So I'm pretty sure that they looked at the schedule and see they saw that they had Chapel Hill in the bracket. It's not, if they're competitive like I would assume that they would be, they circled that game. They hadn't forgotten. So that's a game that they want to see, but it's more of a focus game at this point. You don't want to give them any more bulletin material, and you want to come out, if you're Chapel Hill, you want to come out, take care of business, do what you need to do, and move on to the next round if you want it. It to me, it's not at this point. It's not going to be X's and O's game. It's going to be a hard game. Both teams are very similar in how they play. They both like to press. They both like to play herky jerky, if you want to call it that. Just for anybody listening, I don't want to get too technical. How the game plays are. Everything is fast, simple.
It's gonna be up and down. It's gonna be a fast-paced game. It's gonna be a lot of press, a lot of
a lot of press. A lot of shot. But turnovers, I'm not gonna get too in depth. Turnovers will be a key to the game. And they put up 106 points against an opponent this year. So they'll score points this year. So I don't have any question about that. But they are a better version of what they were last year. So we've got to be on that same level or better than where we were at that point last year. They'll be ready for us.
Vince, you got anything?
Okay. For me, I've said this before: free throws, free throws, free throws. I feel like that's going to be the key to our game because we leave a lot of points out there. And I haven't been to all the games, but the ones I've been to, that seems to be the thing that sticks out to me the most. Rebounding also, but from just free throws, man. Like I think the other night Did we miss like 13 or 14 free throws or something like that the other night? And I was just thinking in my head, like, that's 13, 14 points added to our total. Like, that's game changing, you know? Um, so to me, that's the key. That's the key to the game. I'm not so worried about playing an opponent. Well, I mean, yeah, you play an opponent early in the year, and it could come back to bite you if you play them again in playoffs. It happens, but I don't know. I guess I'm just not worried about. I don't know. I should be worried about this team, but
you're
we
not.
got Brisbane back.
You're not worried.
I'm just not. I'm not. I don't want to say. I don't want to disrespect the other team. I guess that's what I'm trying to do. I don't want to disrespect them. I'm just saying I'm not. I'm just not worried about what they are capable of doing because I know what we can do. When we clicking, man, it's fire. Yeah, it's fire, and there ain't too many people that can handle that. Now the problem is getting there, getting to the promised land. That's the problem. If you get there, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, we gonna smash anybody we play, but it's just getting there. It's the problem. It's just getting there. That's the problem. And again, if we come out and we set the tone early, I don't feel like we should have an issue with them. I just don't. I just don't believe that. Now I could be wrong about them.
All right, yes, we got Randall Doss here. Got a question. Said, who needs to have a big night for a win? I don't know. Here's my thought. I think we're very guard heavy. We like to dribble around and shoot. But my key is the front line of Chapel Hill. Huddleston, Kelly, and Mumphrey. I think those three guys, even Murphy, it contribute. The front line needs to have a big game for Chapel Hill. We know we can. We're gonna. We've watched them all year. We know we're gonna shoot a lot of threes. We know we're gonna play fast, and we're gonna throw the ball away. It just happens the way they play. There's gonna be turnovers, but I think the key is inside out. If we can get the big guys clicking, get Kelly a dunk, maybe get Huddleston a good post up and get him a and one, get those guys inside, it's going to open up the outside. And the more open that our shooters are, as you've seen this year, the better chance we have. If they're having to shoot, shots contested and things like that, their percentage goes down. And obviously that's for most teams, but especially for the Bulldogs, they need open looks, and for that to happen, it's got to go inside out for me.
I agree, Brett. I think I like Huddleston a lot. I feel like he needs to have a big night. Mumphrey too. I talk a lot about him too. They need to have a big night. I like what you said about the playing inside out. I always say, man, why don't they get more touches? Especially, I say it a lot when we lose, but that seems to be the common denominator to me. It seems like when we do lose, it's like it almost feels as if we lost touch with our inside game. So I believe they need to have a big night for us to take it home.
I'm gonna throw a curveball. I'm gonna say whoever gets a double, whoever can get a double, that's who we're riding with. I've watched about maybe 40 minutes of game tape, and like I said, they play like us. Control the glass is going to be very key. Not give up too many offensive rebounds or defensive or offensive rebounds for sure. But if we can score interiorly, in the half court, of course they're going to want to press, so they're going to have an opportunity to score layups as well. So we have to break the press down. But if we can score in the half court inside, and also win the rebounding battle, whoever gives a double, it's hard to find a team that loses when your player has a double. It's almost impossible to lose. And I can't find it's rare.
Well, in high school especially too, because these days a lot of it's a lot of guard oriented, a lot of shooting threes and stuff like that. I mean, especially
a
at
lot
this
of
level.
shooting.
You get to the bigger
now.
classifications. They're going to be a lot more big guys. They might have a tendency to go inside more, but the smaller you get, the bigger your inside game is, the better chance you have, in my opinion. Because
and what I look for when I say double, that means that the guy that is getting, he is everywhere on it. He is wanting to rebound the basketball. He is going after the boards. He's boxing out, and he's getting putbacks, and maybe he's getting plays drawn for him. But that's what I look for, and that to me is the hungriest player on the floor. If they're able to do that, especially if our bigs, whether it be Humphrey, Mumphrey, whoever the bigs are, I'm making a joke right now. Whoever it is in the post right now in the interior, whoever steps up and wants to be out there, no silly fouls, no ticky tack fouls. They come out, rebound, and try their best to score interior wise. That's who has to be the big name tonight. The night, the guy that's going to take us over the head. I can't say it right now, but who needs to have a big night? The person who wants a double. That's who needs to have a big.
I feel like that might be Brisbane. I feel like it might be Brisbane too. Because there's been a lot of times where he just kind of he gives us a spark. That he gives us a spark that we need. So
could be. That's a good. That's a good
thing.
We've seen
him kind of take over. We've seen him take over at times, like just when everybody go cold, he just come out of nowhere. Big shot.
He did the same thing in football.
Steal,
I mean, same thing in football.
Yeah.
I mean, he kind of came out of nowhere and just put that spark and lit that playoff run.
He might be the X factor. He might be the X factor.
And I don't know how much you follow football, Nick, but our team went to the semifinals this season. Demetrius Brisbane is a freshman. He kind of came in mid-season, sparked our runs to the semifinals, and he's actually on the varsity basketball team as well. So, a tremendous player, tremendous just kid in general. I work at the school, and he's always gives me a dap. He knows who we are from being at the game and stuff. He's a great kid, and real kind of quiet. He's real sneaky about some of his moves. He's not. He's fast,
what? You're right, because you don't. He don't really. I don't know. It's like you see him and he out there and he don't really showboat a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like he don't. I don't.
He just takes care of business.
He's real collected. He just does what he's supposed to do.
He doesn't get shaken real easily for a freshman either. He's very level-headed.
No, not because he's a freshman doing.
If you were looking at him out there, you wouldn't think he was a freshman.
That's what I was gonna say. Like maybe they underestimate him a little bit because he's real quiet at times and he's just doing what he's supposed to do, and you may lean off of him a little bit, and then bam, there you go, and it's off to the races, and now and now he hot, and he done got Barry hot, and then all of a sudden that's when I talk about we start clicking, So I think Brisbane might be that guy.
That's a great question, Randall. Thanks for joining us tonight. I don't know if you've ever got to tune in live, but keep following us. Subscribe to our channel if you're not, and we appreciate the question.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
So, y'all got anything else? We're kind of at the point now where, there's nothing but.
Well, we didn't. I would like to ask y'all. I'm more of a football enthusiast, but what y'all think about the Super Bowl?
It was a good game.
It was.
I literally enjoyed the halftime show. I will say that. It was the best halftime show that I've seen.
I almost. I wanted to text. I wanted to send out a text to Corey and said somehow the 49ers losing again. I was gonna leave him alone. I ain't gonna never let you live that.
Shots fired across the bow.
You ran your mouth a little too much. You were drinking too much Kool-Aid on that one.
So Nick, okay, so who's your NFL team, Nick?
I caught you off guard like you did me yesterday.
Yeah. I'm not an NFL guy. I usually watch from time to time. I watch the Super Bowl also. but if I always watch the Eagles every time.
The Eagles.
So every time
Ooh.
I'm going to watch them.
Oh,
So so
I ain't got no
a little
problem.
bit weird at
You
times.
see, you see what I'm sporting. I ain't got no problem with it.
Yeah. You're a sport. Where's your Green Bay hat?
I'm
Where's your
good.
Green Bay hat,
Yeah,
Vince?
Hey, I got it. Don't. Hey,
Nah.
don't play.
Okay,
Let me go grab it.
So the running joke, so you just can
Mhm.
catch up here, Nick. We call Vince a bandwagon fan. So he'll stay with the team. They start losing, and then he's gonna pick somebody else. Oh, it's Green Bay now. Let me switch my hat over to Green Bay.
It's
in
the
the
trend.
Homer Simpson.
Nah.
In the Homer Simpson meme where he's going
Nah.
into the bushes and he comes
And
out.
see,
Oh, here we go.
check
Look,
this
here we
out.
go. It's Adrian Mumphrey's uncle.
I
Shout out to
see.
Randall.
Okay, that's what's up.
Shut
That's
up.
what's up. All right, Randall.
Hey, I just want you to know, Randall. I got to talk to your nephew a few times in the hallway. He's a great kid, and I really admire him. He wants to come on our show, so we'll have him on at some point after the season's over. So
Tell him
hope
to
you've
keep
been
working.
enjoying. Yeah, keep working. He's got a lot of great skills, and he's got a real chance to play somewhere at the next level. So tell him to keep working.
And tell him don't go over the back and foul so much. That's,
Yeah,
that's
we need him in there. We need him in
go for the
the game.
rebound. If
Yeah.
you beat, don't go for it.
Hey, he's top of the class though in the Sweeney School of Flops. So we'll say that. So another inside joke, Nick. So I'm kind of in high school. I was known for drawing a lot of charges. That was my thing. So I kind of started the Sweeney School of Flops, and so I grade everyone during the game on their charges and their flops and such. And so Adrian, he's gotten some really good grades this year. He's probably close to the top of the class in the Sweeney School of
Averaging
Flops.
a 90 right now. He's gotten some. He's gotten some.
There we go.
All right, Vince. James says we got Lovey Smith.
We did. Hey, it's about to get on and popping. Give us 2 years. We'll be back. And
he's back on. He said, "Okay, thanks for the advice. He listens at what you say." Hey, that's awesome. We appreciate it. We say we're doing this because we love to support the team. We love basketball and we love sports. So any criticisms or advice, it's all because we love the program. We've all been through it. So we're glad he's here and just have him continue to work because that's what it takes.
Nothing but the best.
Yeah.
So my personal effect about the Super Bowl, just to answer Vince's question, since you want to throw the 49ers out there that way.
And hold on, just to be clear, Nick, I'm not the only one here that follows 2 teams. Corey does the same thing.
Very clear. I told you, I'm grandfathered in the Houston, Texas organization. I'm grandfathered in. So no matter what.
Grandfather, they ain't been around that long.
Well, I have family that played for the Oilers, so technically.
That's Tennessee Titans, Corey.
No, they're still Houston. I'm still.
It's Tennessee Titans.
They don't go to Ring of Honor in Tennessee. They go to Ring of Honor in Texas.
No, they don't. They go to Tennessee. All the records and all the stats, they took it with them.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, when they planted the flag back in Texas. So anyway, what I'm saying is this. What I'm saying, I thought that Joe Burr or Joe whoever, I thought they were going to actually pull it out. But I like the Super Bowl. It was good. It was exciting. Super Bowl halftime show was, I'm just gonna make a joke. I don't think the NFL knew exactly what they were getting themselves into with the halftime show, but I loved it. That's all I can say.
James, I only speak truth, man. So just calm it down. Truth is being spoken here.
I tell you,
so Nick, if you want a true fan, someone that supports their team and doesn't waver, that's you're looking at him. Okay.
Yeah. Can you guess what team he's for?
Yeah,
you can already guess.
And I'll give you the hint. He's the biggest mouth on the show. They'll tell you exactly who he roots for.
That's okay. I don't care.
Nothing in the past
hurt my feelings. But it's the Stars, the Rangers, the Cowboys, and the Longhorns. And
my condolences.
All of them. So I'm with them no matter if they're good, bad. There you go. Corey's with me on the Mavs.
I'm a man. I can't. That is my all-time favorite team. Period.
Vince can't
Here
even
we go.
tell you.
Here we go. Here we
Vince
go.
can't even tell you what basketball team he supports. Which one is it
This
tonight?
is really why Vince is a bandwagon
Oh, here we
fan.
go. Here we
This is
go.
really why Vince.
Miami Heat.
He told the bandwagon story.
Listen, I'm not finna. I can't go into it. It's too long. But I'm gonna make it
Because you have to explain it. That's too bad.
No.
I mean, how do you?
I grew up a Phoenix
In Miami?
Suns fan.
You grew up in Miami?
I did.
Oh,
I grew up a Phoenix Suns fan. Again, I've said this a million times. I got into college basketball, learned about Dwayne Wade, and I followed him all the way here.
when he cheated the Mavs for the 06 championship.
I started watching them, and I just naturally became a fan because of Dwayne Wade, and I never left them alongside with Phoenix. Now, again, I don't brag about neither of these teams. You don't really hear me talk about them.
Because they're not good. Nobody wants to claim a team that's not good.
I wouldn't say he's not good.
What are you talking about, man? He know that he's good.
Can you name a player on the Heat, Vince?
What? Why wouldn't I not be able to name a player on the Heat?
Okay, who's on the Heat? I don't even know who's on the Heat. I can't.
Who he played for? Who he played for?
Who played for? Dwayne Wade?
I'm just saying, that was a joke. Who he played for?
Wade's retired. You got to think of somebody else.
Name two players for the Miami Heat. Two.
Tyler Hero and
Tyler Hero.
He's struggling. He's struggling.
No, Jimmy Butler.
Okay. Name three. Name starting lineup.
He don't know.
Do me like that.
He don't know.
Y'all not gonna do me like that. Nah. Y'all trying to no. Listen, and let me tell you this. Brett known me for a long time. He know I've been here.
I know where you've been, Mr. LeBron.
And I will say this. I did follow the Mavs for a while. I got a little bit upset.
You're proving our point, Vince.
No.
You just proved our point. You just said
I did follow the Mavs.
You follow this team. I like this team. Oh, let me turn over like this team. Oh, this team's winning. I'm gonna go with them.
This was before the Miami thing. This was before the Miami thing, and the deal that happened with Steve Nash. I don't know. I was in my feelings. I was young. I was in my feelings. The Steve Nash and Nick Van Exel, the deal. I was just mad. I was just pissed off. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was just pissed off. Because I liked them. I liked them a lot.
That, the Nick Van Exel, I was at that game when Chris Webber got injured, the playoff game. He went down with his knee injury, and the Mavs, they scored like 80-something points in the first half, and ended up winning. I think it was like 140-something to 120. It was an incredible game. I think it was the most points in playoff history for the Mavs for a while, if it still stands. But
yeah, they probably gave up 120.
Yeah, he did. But it was like back and forth. Van Exel had like 40-something points. I mean, he couldn't miss. Anyway, I just reminded me of that.
But yeah. So that, and that's when I kind of let go of the Mavs. I was like, I can't do it.
You gotta ride with them when they're not. When Ross Perot had to say, you gotta ride with them way back in the day.
There was a period where I wanted to go back, but when I learned the whole rules of sports, where you can't just go back to a team and say, "All right, I'm with y'all again," I just let it be what it was.
But you still do it. You still do it though.
No, how? I never.
So which team is yours? Phoenix or Miami? See, you don't know.
Who said I had to have one?
Gosh.
I gotta have one.
In basketball, you can only have one. Football is basketball. You only have one. You only have one team.
Yeah.
So why not in football?
Because football is different. You got a lot of players.
Do you have a basketball team, Nick?
I usually watch it because if I think of basketball, like in the professional, I think of okay, I gotta dissect this game. I have like I gotta go to work mentality. So I have a story. So growing up, I always watched North Carolina, and this was when Tyler Hansborough.
Oh no!
That's when Tyler Hansborough was playing.
Coach K, Coach K, man, North Carolina. What's wrong with North Carolina now?
Transition.
Kind of down here. Hubert Davis transition here. So I always kept up with North Carolina, and actually I was hardcore. I did the scorebook and everything. If I missed something, I always rewind it and like just figure out who got the basket. Okay, assist. Okay, wrote it down on a little scorebook. So then always played the NCAA basketball games whenever they came out, and I'm hoping they come out with another one, and with outside of the football one that's coming out pretty soon too. So I don't.
Well, now
I
they
don't
can
so,
actually can they put
yeah.
their names on the rosters
hope
and stuff
not.
now with the new
So
rules?
I believe
Yeah.
that if you get like an NIL like agreed upon, you can. But there's like I'm not sure how the financial situation works when it comes to those things too.
That's gonna
But
make it
like
interesting.
yeah, yeah,
I mean, I
and
hadn't really
also
thought
of
about
course
that.
like the universities, yeah,
Best college
of course.
basketball game for best college basketball game for this system. Mine was College Hoops 2008. I don't know about anybody else.
2K8, let's go, yes.
Yeah, so that the
I love
top
that.
College Hoops 2K8 was those you could go coach mode or franchise mode or legacy mode. I'm sorry. You can pick whatever school you wanted to go to. You could recruit. It was phenomenal. I love that game.
Did
That
you
was
go
my
to
favorite
Texas?
game.
Did you go to Texas, Corey?
Yeah.
Actually, no.
Oh, Corey.
Listen. So the coach and I created for myself. I got a job offer somewhere else, and I could pick any job I wanted to. Actually, I did. I went to. I can't remember what school I went to afterwards, but I'd won like so many games at one of these schools, and then I went on to somewhere else. This was what? That was 2008. That was 14 years ago. I can't remember what I did then. But it was fun.
Yeah, I play that game off and on. I'm currently do like a career building thing. So I started out in year one. I started out in Hofstra, and year two I am at Northern Iowa, and then so I'm trying to build up programs and resumes. So it's kind of like a career building thing on the game.
It's fun. It's fun, man.
Oh yeah, it's pretty addicting.
But it's a lot of work you put in. Once you get it good, you'll get like the recruiting pitches, and you can go to different spots on the globe, and it kind of it is awesome. It's awesome.
Oh yeah.
I never had MySpace.
Yeah, you did.
I never had MySpace.
Man, I like everybody in my back when you could pick your music and you made someone listen to your music on there. That was pretty cool.
Honestly, I never set up a MySpace account. I was too
still remember the days where
you had your top 8. You had your top 8 people. If somebody didn't get in your top 8, boy, that would be ticked off.
There will be fights in the hallway.
Yeah, like you bumped me from your top 8, man. What happened? Boy. And then you bump somebody down, and that makes them mad. That was.
I still remember growing up. I still remember growing up. I always hear kids in high school. This was like in my junior high days. Always go to athletics, and I always hear kids like, "Well, why'd you kick me off the top 8? You made me mad yesterday."
Oh,
like, oh my gosh.
MySpace.
Oh man, life was simple. Life was simple. You only had MySpace.
I used MySpace to find music. I was a big music hunter back then. So
it was a pirate.
Yeah. Y'all got anything else? Anything else we want to ask Nick before we close it down?
Man, I've followed him a little while doing my research on him, but I definitely following some more. I've got to get more into the high school girls sports. Got a lot of friends that coach.
Yeah.
The girls athletes, girls sports, especially girls basketball. So I'm excited for that. Especially WNBA is growing and expanding, and they're getting more popular. And there's a lot of girl dads out there, so it's important for those guys to go out there.
I have a daughter, so
this magazine is perfect for you guys. They want to play hoops and basketball, so that's a good thing, man.
I think it's awesome. And like I said, hopefully we can have you on again sometime. It's been awesome to have you on. And hopefully maybe we can help you with some stuff here in the East Texas area. That kind of stuff. So as we continue to branch out and grow, so You want to just kind of go over your site and all that again for those that may have missed it earlier, where they can find you on Twitter, how they can get involved with your site, anything that you want people that follow our show to know about your site and your business.
Okay, yeah. So facebook.com/TXHGB is the Facebook page. We have a Facebook group also. It is Texas HS Girls Basketball Huddle. I do ask that you answer those questions because there's a lot of spam that I keep getting into, and there's a lot of bad links. Also, I do want to point that out. Be sure to not click those links. There's a lot of bad streaming links. A lot of stream links usually get contacted by the media group themselves and also by the school themselves too. Schools usually get first contact when it comes to those streaming things too. So be on the lookout for those things. They're kind of pretty sketchy. They ask for your credit card information and they don't give you the game. That's how it works. So Twitter @TXHSGB also. And on Instagram @TXHGB also as well. So we'll be posting a lot of photos as we'll be going out to games a whole lot more often this weekend also. So pretty action-packed weekend. I'm pretty excited to see how the action unfolds in the area around and head into the second week of playoffs.
Awesome. Well, Nick, we appreciate you coming on the show.
I got you on here, man. I got you.
There you go. There you go.
We'll continue. Right, we continue to use your tag on our posts and stuff. We'll continue to try to get the word out. Like I said, we appreciate you and everything you do. And again, thanks for coming on and joining us. Hope you
absolutely
hopefully we entertained you a little bit. We
hell yeah. Oh yeah.
On a Wednesday.
On a Wednesday.
Yeah.
Well, for Corey and Vince, for our guest Nick Alvarado, this is Brett, your founder of BSN. We'll catch you next time right here in the Bulldog Sports Network weekly wrap-up show. See you guys.
Peace.
Yeah.